Mr. Mayor, what a week. Before this all started, San Francisco was a bit of a punching bag, and now every single national headline that I've seen has been of the positive variety. So where we are now versus where this all was, 10 days ago, have you had a chance to take a breath yet?
I haven't, but I don't. This job is not one where you take breaks. But it was a great week. We showed up, and I think you know this, Mr. Lombardi, that our city has gotten a lot better over the past year. But I don't think the rest of the world had caught up to that news. And so to put ourselves out there on the world's stage, the largest event, arguably in the world, minus maybe World Cup, but that's coming here as well, that we got to show our beauty, which everybody knows. We got to show off our culture, our restaurants, our sandwich shops, and I think we should feel proud as San Franciscans. And yes, we were the punching bag, and we got we got a lot of media. We had 12,000 credentialed media here in San Francisco, and that's just a commercial for our city. And you said off camera like that came with some risk, and it did, but that's not. We always want to take on big opportunities and big chances because we always come through here in San Francisco, like we did Super Bowl 50, like we did last week for Super Bowl 60. So it was a great week. The weather cooperated.
70 every day.
The commissioner and I spoke. I reached out to him, and Friday or Saturday before the festivity started, and I said, Commissioner, I'm only in charge of one thing this coming weekend. It's the weather. And so all week, whenever I saw him, I told him, I'm delivering. How about you? So we had
I think I saw a quote from you at one point where you said the Charles River might be frozen over in Boston, or maybe the lake in Chicago, but I could just go hop in the bay. Do you hop in the bay? Do you swim at all?
I have.
Okay.
I've done the polar bear challenge. Actually, I did a birthday a couple years ago. During the campaign, my wife surprised me, and all of my friends, we went and jumped in Ocean Beach.
That's even colder.
In February. So we did that. I surf poorly on small days at Ocean Beach. I have not done like the Alcatraz swim yet. I probably need to try that.
Come in with me. I'm a Dolphin Club member.
All right, okay. Yeah, I like the dog. So during the campaign, I also swam at the Dolphin Club, but that was one time, but I want to go back. And I love swimming for exercise. There's that and boxing, probably no better exercise.
Well, and I think it's such a San Francisco thing that it's been there since 1877. And you could go there year round. It's a little chilly at all times, especially now, but it's not going to be fatal if you get in without a wetsuit.
It's awesome. That sauna's not bad either.
Yes, and it's mandatory at this time of the year. Now, you mentioned food. And I think that's really what, with all the influencers and social media voices, spearheaded things this week. You had people not only visit the taquerias, which are famous, and we could debate about our favorite burrito a little later on. I know you're going to say La Taqueria. I'm going to say Cancun, and we had a chicken debate the other day.
I love Cancun too. They're in the running.
So I think that it's La Taqueria for the carne asada.
Okay.
And Cancun for the chicken. But you have a certain
and by the way, no, I might not. I think La Taque just does. They don't do grilled chicken. I don't believe so. I always get carne asada at La Taque.
Yes,
and I do. And usually I go grilled chicken wherever else I go, and I do love Cancun's grilled chicken.
Did you know that? I think it was probably 10 or 15 years ago, 538, when I think it was connected with ESPN, did a burrito bracket.
I remember this, and you remember who won?
La Taqueria won. I'll give it to you.
Nationally, it was a nationwide competition. It wasn't a San Francisco competition, which we could.
But it became one. I think 3 of the final 4 in the bracket.
I don't remember that part.
Yeah, they were within 7 blocks of each other.
It's so funny. We have a group of great team members here at City Hall and who love their food, and we have these debates all the time, and we're always looking for the cool place, or we get in fights over this. So we'll add you to our little text string on this.
So so much has opened, I feel, over the course of the last couple of years. It's hard to keep track of where to go. But what were you most proud of from like a small business showcase standpoint over the course of the Super Bowl week?
Well, first, we have some economic numbers where like there was an increase in searches to come stay in San Francisco around Super Bowl week. It was up over 350%. Our SFO had close to 1.8 million people over the holidays, and then 1.3 million people during a 9 or 10 day stretch in terms of departures and arrivals, which was a record 10-day period in our airport's history. The economic revenue, the talk is it was about $440 million in economic impact. But what was so great was all of these influencers and people going to pizza shops and testing things out. And then it's going to be what happens now. Like how many people go home and tell everybody what a great time they had, or read one of the articles or watched one of the shows like a Pat McAfee or whatever and said, okay, I got to go get back to San Francisco. And I think that is just going to really help our small businesses, our restaurants, our arts and culture. Our museums were packed. People rented out restaurants and the private rooms. I think Tyler Florence, I think I read somewhere, he said that he did more on Friday and Saturday night this past weekend than he does in a 3-week period. And, people like that love our city, the small business owners that maybe aren't, world famous like Tyler is, really got to show off on this great stage. So, I hope what it just does is it brings just more tourists back. Remember, our number one industry in San Francisco is tourism.
Yeah.
It's not AI, which we are the leader in, and it's not healthcare, which we also lead in. It's tourism, and so there's no better showcase than the Super Bowl.
Speaking of tourism, we live not too far from Aquatic Park, and Fisherman's Wharf, I know, has been a big point of emphasis for you.
Yes.
What are the plans there to revitalize?
Well, so we're knocking down a building over near Alioto's and opening up the waterfront again, allowing the tourists to see the waterfront and hopefully increase the ability for people to see what our fishermen are doing, those that are going out and bringing crab back in, our world famous crab. And so how do we revitalize the Fisherman's Wharf? I think it's something like close to 13 or 14 million people a year were coming there.
Yes, the Bushman was there scaring people.
Oh, yeah. Well, so I think the numbers were creeping back up to pre-COVID numbers, so that's good, but it needs to be revamped. It needs to be reimagined, and I know we're doing a quick build project this spring and summer, and we should have a kind of a more energetic and more vistas in terms of being able to look out onto the waterfront. So I'm excited to see our teams finish that.
One of the reasons I asked is because one of the coolest events we went to during Super Bowl week was one of the most low-key ones. It was in an art gallery at Fisherman's Wharf, and they're unveiling the Super Bowl art, and Frank Gore was there.
Oh, okay.
And Frank was
I didn't
talking
hear about this.
Yeah, it was a very small, low-key event. So we had some one-on-one time with Frank, who unfortunately, I think he very much deserved to be a first ballot guy,
Yeah.
but wasn't. But he was singing the praises of the city, and
Great.
he said he was going to a bunch of events, and he and Roger Craig, the two running backs, were focal points of this week. How much did you intersect with the 49ers and with football people this week? Because I know you had such a busy schedule. I just want to kind of envision what it was like for you.
Before I get into the Niners, let me just say one thing. So I have a tendency to post on social.
Mm-hmm.
And we were going out, we went to Tom Brady's card vault opening, and we did all these things. But one thing that was unplanned was once a month in Union Square, there's a DJ, Juan Love, who DJs, and they do salsa dancing. And a friend of mine said, hey, you gotta come check out Union Square. And I happened to be around there, and this, I think, was Thursday night, maybe it was Friday night. And I went down there, there's 200 people salsa dancing in the middle of Super Bowl week, and we posted about a 15-second clip, and it's the most watched clip that we showed, and it wasn't Super Bowl related. It was just about back to what you asked earlier, it's like there's joy back in San Francisco. There is this sense of like, oh, okay, this is our city. We've reclaimed it, and the love and the joy and the music that was showing up. Now your question, I stopped by the practice for the Pro Bowl flag football game. I saw Christian McCaffrey. I saw George Kittle. Had a chance to just thank them for an incredibly inspiring season. I took my son to the flag football game, and then we enjoyed the Super Bowl experience at Moscone. That I think on Friday alone brought in 15,000 visitors. So had a really good time. Got to see a number of players at different things, including as I just mentioned, Tom Brady, who gave a great end to the clip.
Yes, that was my favorite clip of the week. I thought, and we were at that Brady thing as well, just outside. We saw him walk in, and Rise of the 49ers. I know you say that's still on your watch.
I got to. Yes, you say it's awesome.
Well, he has probably. I'm going to give a little spoiler.
Okay.
Here. I put it on Twitter. You might have seen it the other day. It went viral. I just took that quote because it's so good. He said that I wouldn't have become what I became if I grew up cheering for the Jets.
Oh, I did. That's a good line.
Yes,
that's really.
And I mean, so the reason
the guy that runs all of our press, my press secretary here, he is a Jets fan. So you just destroyed him.
He's in the room.
He's still he's in the room. So Charles, we'll make that up to you later.
It was Tom Brady though, and I mean it was perfect for him because the Jets were the AFC East rivals.
Yes,
so he takes a shot at his rivals, but while also talking about what the 49ers meant to him. But what this series gets into, and I think it was really timely and probably intentional that it came out the week before the Super Bowl. It gets into what the 49ers have meant, not only to the Bay Area, but specifically to the city.
Yep.
If you go back to the history of the 70s and then winning in 81, and then Tom Brady really does a good job of capturing all that. He's the executive producer of this. It was probably a whirlwind event with his card vault opening, but how important is it for somebody of Tom's stature to be behind a small business when you're trying to bring that back?
Oh, yeah. I mean, listen, I'll go celebrate and uplift any small business, any restaurant in our city. That one just happened to be with Tom Brady's name at front. But him cheerleading for our city, him investing in San Francisco is just another sign that this is the place that you have to be. Every AI company, they have to be here. Restaurants, as you pointed out, there's more restaurants starting this past year than have been in quite some time. We got some great new spots. So him believing in it was a great shot in the arm. And so that was a wild event. My son likes to collect baseball cards, and he typically has to go down to the peninsula or the South Bay to go to a card shop. This card shop looks awesome, by the way. So I'm excited to bring my son to it.
I don't know if you noticed the mural. They had a Purdy number 14 because that was what he wore as a rookie before he made the 53-man roster.
I didn't see it. It was crowded around that building.
Yeah, so when you head back, I'm sure you'll be at a Giants game. It's across the street. They have the rare memorabilia, and I guess Purdy's rookie card was still in the 14 jersey.
Oh, okay.
So it's on this mural up there next to a Steve Young Tampa Bay Bucks number 8.
Okay.
Right? Yeah, because before he came over to the Niners, he had some rough years in Tampa. So they have, it's just for sports fans and backstory. There's some homages to that kind of history there.
I like it.
Up on the wall. So
you brought up Roger Craig.
Yes.
And I had an opportunity. You asked if I had any interactions with Niners. The week before Super Bowl week, Eddie DeBartolo, Mr. D, held an event for Roger. And I think it's gotten out, and Joe Montana and Ronnie Lott, and Steve Young, Eric Wright, and Keena Turner honoring Roger. And I got to be in the room with them. And what I said to that group was, and this was actually at Tyler Florence's restaurant, Tyler and Tolan put it on, but what I said to them was the Niners in the early 80s, lifting up our city at a time that we were really struggling. And the power of the Niners, the power of sport to lift up a community is so incredibly important. And I think the Niners this season did it again for us, fighting through adversity, showing what a team coming together can do, overcoming a lot of challenges. It was sort of what our city has gone through. And so I just wanted to shout out that team, that dynasty, what those people and those players meant. Ronnie and I are really close friends. And Ronnie, for what I tell everybody, he helped me start. He was one of the founders of Tipping Point.
Yeah.
And I always say Ronnie's a better person than he was a football player. And he's a top 50 football player of all time. So that's all you need to know about him. And that group, you could tell they're like family, and how Eddie D treats them. And I know Jed does all he can for his players today too. I think he learned a lot from Eddie DeBartolo. And so it was a pretty amazing experience.
You'll love the documentary. It gets into not just the football, the community aspect, but also the familial ties that bonded that team. Do you have any memories that stand out on top of the 49ers from the 80s in this city?
So I went to a couple of games growing up, but I didn't go a lot to the Stick. But I went a number of times. But I remember the thing for me was watching the game with my dad and my brother, and my stepfather also was a big Niner fan. He was probably more focused on Cal football, but I remember watching some Super Bowls with my dad at home, and just and I also remember watching some losses, and my dad would lose it, and we would all lose it, and but like I just he called me during the playoff games at halftime or after a first quarter after a good play. So I remember the Niners. That was a tie, a bond between my dad, my brother, and me. So
well, and you brought it up with this team. I don't think there will ever be another team. I don't think there has been a team as decimated as they were by injuries to win 13 games. I've gone back and tried to find examples, and there aren't any, right? So on top of that, the Niners of the 80s didn't have a Super Bowl season every year, right? I mean, that there were, like you said, tough losses that they bounced back from to build that dynasty. I think everybody puts roses around the past and kind of assumes everything was smooth sailing. But in a way that, to
what
me...
were some of our records?
Well, they were a losing team in 82. They didn't even make the playoffs the year after Dwight Clark made the catch. In 1983, they lost to Washington in the NFC title game in a gut-punching loss. But what they did is, if you watch the documentary, Randy Cross says it great. He said that they left that season hungry for the next one. Instead of being demoralized by what were actually a couple bad calls against Ronnie Lott in the NFC Championship game, they were fueled and they won the Super Bowl here at Stanford Stadium.
I remember that.
And then they lost 49-3 against the New York Giants in '86.
I remember that game. I remember that. Jim Burt, right?
But they just got destroyed.
Yeah, I remember.
And they ended up winning 3 more Super Bowls after losing 49-3. Bigger picture, you talk about sports and how it combines with the spirit of a city. This city, San Francisco, has been knocked down so many times. I mean, the city seals of Phoenix rising from the ashes.
That's right.
We go back to the 1906
flag.
Yes, I studied the flag. There it is. It's over there. But the type of year that the 49ers put in, do you feel that resonated with the track that you want this city to
I think
be
it's
on
a great.
now?
I mean, I love that analogy. And when you talk, and I've said this, I've had the great privilege of getting to know GM John Lynch and Coach Kyle Shanahan, who I just think incredibly highly of. And I think it was their best year. They've been to Super Bowls, and then it's like a coin flip when you're in there. Overtime loss to KC, but I thought Kyle did the best coaching job of his life, and he should be so proud, and the GM and I think Jed and the ownership group that's what you want from your sports. You don't want them ever giving up. You want to show I have an 11-year-old son, I have a 14-year-old daughter. Like, I want them seeing that when you get knocked down, you got to get back up. You can't say, well, I'll just wait a couple months and we're in the off. Like those dudes just balled. They just played so hard. They won games that they shouldn't have won. Going into Philly and winning at the Link is hard. By the way, I know Philly wasn't great this year, but they're the defending champions in their home stadium. Yeah. Late Sunday night or early afternoon into Sunday night, like that was awesome. Like obviously we did not have what we needed for the Seahawks, but I remember you told me you and I texted at the beginning of the season. I was like, "What's the win total?" And I think you said at least 11. I think
12-5. Yeah, at least 11 and 12-5.
Yeah, you might have said 12-5. So to go 13, I mean,
they won 13 games.
I mean, with all of like half of our bet, like
mass injury event.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I just, like you said, sports and community often work in parallel.
We feed off each other.
How much do you miss Candlestick?
I mean, I miss the Niners maybe being in the city. The stick. I don't know how much I miss the actual stick where the field would flood and those parking lots were rough
under sea level.
And I remember one time I went to a game and it was an hour and a half wait to get in, and we just turned around and went home and watched the second half on TV. So the best way to get to the stick was always Muni, and I think I forgot that one time. But listen, I obviously am partial. I think Levi's, they've done great work with that stadium. Of course, I'm a San Franciscan. I want them here, but I don't know how much I miss the stick. I miss them being in San Francisco. I'll stick with that. Do you miss the stick?
I missed the escalator ride up.
Oh yeah,
You'd see the city and
the last game. Yeah. I think the last game I saw, and I don't know if it was the last game in, was our muffed punt against the Giants.
I was there.
I was there too, off face mask, right?
Well, there were two of them in one game. Oh man, and he did an interview and he did a great job. It was this past week, Kyle Williams, and he talked about how this was cool. Actually, this is a more uplifting way to look at it. Patrick Willis walked up to him after that game in the locker room and said, "Yeah, I'd put you back out there 100 times out of 100. I still believe in you."
There you go.
He said that not only saved his career, he played a few more years, but saved his mental well-being.
Oh, that's
to hear
great.
That, to hear somebody at his lowest moment, to hear somebody
Patrick
believing in him.
I mean, that talk about a leader.
Yes,
a leader of men, leader of people. Patrick Willis, my goodness, I saw him during some festivities. He's got a new book, a children's book out. And that just when you had him playing linebacker, you just felt very good about your chances.
Yeah, and now they've got 54 in there. Well, they didn't, and it looked like he might come back, but not quite there. What are you most proud of from not just this past week, but it's been a build. It feels like it's been about a year now. What is your proudest accomplishment at this point?
I think, I could get into the political stuff and the crime stats, which are 30-year lows in crimes, 40-year low in crime downtown, or not 40-year lows, sorry, 30% down citywide crime.
Yeah,
40% down year over year in our downtown core. Car break-ins at 22-year lows. Like, I can get into some great stats, but it's important how people feel. And we were, as you said earlier, like we were getting punched and we were getting punched down, and it's, and there was valid reasons for it. It's why I ran. Like, I was not happy with the direction our city was going in. But I just came from an event yesterday. The Chamber of Commerce put out a poll that said 64% of San Franciscans feel like we're heading in the right track. Up from 1 year ago, last January was 43%. The year before, only 22% of people felt like we're ahead. So if you're in any country, city, and you hear that 2/3 of your residents feel good about the direction of your city, like, that's pretty good. So I think the vibe shift, the momentum that we have built, that we're making it easier for our small businesses and our restaurants to get permits. We've really focused heavily on that. making sure people feel safe. But now 1 year of momentum is not enough. You got to put our foot on the accelerator, and we got to go, compete and win championships every year.
How much it might be too soon after the Super Bowl week, but I think perception can be reality in so many instances, and especially for San Francisco. And I know that you focused on that, but have you already started, especially downtown, because that's where so many of the events were, and that's where so many of the vacancies also are. Are you sensing a shift there? Maybe some of these businesses are interested in coming back.
So, David, we're getting a lot of inbound now. We're getting a lot of retailers that left 3-4 years ago saying they want to be back. They want to be back on Union Square. They want to be on Market Street. They want to be near the cable car turnaround. They feel the energy. They know this is a great market. They were concerned, rightfully so, about whether or not they open a business. Is it going to be safe? And so that 40% down crime number in Union Square and our downtown core is big. And so now we got to keep doing. We're doing site visits with those retailers. I'm going on them. Like, I'm calling CEOs saying, we want you here. I went to an office opening yesterday. A company moved from San Diego to San Francisco to put their headquarters here. They're in the technology space. Like, it's happening. And now we just got to keep it rolling. We got World Cup coming. We're hosting the first night of MLB with the Giants hosting the Yankees in March. That's going to be a great event, another chance for us to be on a national stage. So I'm going to be relentless. I'm going to be tireless. I'm going to just keep going. My team is ready, and I think San Franciscans are ready.
A decade ago, you were the Bay Area host committee lead. Now you are the mayor. How was it different for you, the experiences for the Super Bowl?
Zaleen, who I'm sure you got to know, is the CEO. I was chair of the host committee, and Mayor Ed Lee, who was right here, and Jed York both asked me to chair that bid, which was wild. There was not even a stadium open yet when we took that and went and competed. But Zaleen has been just an incredible leader. She pulled off a world-class event. Much bigger, more events than we had. 300 sanctioned events here in San Francisco that we at the city knew about. So I can only imagine how many more there were outside of that. I told her, like, I think she was probably more stressed out than I was. I was focused on the weather, as I said, and then making sure people felt safe because I knew the events would take care of themselves. I just wanted PD, our sheriffs, our park rangers, who really just did an amazing job. Our Department of Public Works kept our streets clean. Muni saw a huge increase in ridership. I think 17,000 more riders per day. It was just incredible how many people they moved all week long. So I was focused on the nuts and bolts. And knew our team would deliver because we're built for world-class events. But Zaleen, that's sort of like starting a whole new entity, which she had to do 2 years ago. And she brought the whole region together, and she deserves her flowers, as they say.
And there's not a lot of time to rest now because the World Cup.
We got to go right back at it. 6 matches, and hopefully, we got 5 first-round matches. If Team USA wins its group stage, we could be hosting them at Levi's.
Wow.
Yeah.
That would be huge.
That would be huge. Now that requires them winning their group stage, but people say the odds are that they could pull that off. So then I think that'd be on July 1st at Levi's. We would
so you'd almost get a 4th of July Team USA game at Levi's Stadium. I'm sure the flyover for that would be something else. The flyovers here, they went from, I heard, the South Bay all the way to close to the city.
I heard that too.
Windows, they said.
I heard that too. I was sitting at this desk for Super Bowl. I was working.
You know what I miss most about Candlestick? The Fleet Week, when the 49ers would play a home game, and then they would buzz John Madden and Pat Summerall, and John Madden was afraid of planes. I don't know if you've ever seen that clip.
I haven't seen that clip.
Classic.
But I do remember that you say that. I remember we'd have Hardly Strictly Bluegrass. We'd have a
Yes.
Giants playoff game. We'd have a Niners game, and all in one here, and Fleet Week, all at one time. Like I remember that a couple of times, and this city was buzzing like it was last week.
October in San Francisco is the Super
best.
Bowl of seasons.
It's
But
the
you
best.
got October weather in February.
Yes,
So
yes, we did. Yes,
it ended
we
up
did.
all working
Yes, we
out.
did.
Good job on securing that. Is there anything tangible in place like that you guys have talked about with your team coming out of the Super Bowl to make sure that you perpetuate the momentum, just from like a logistics, nuts and bolts perspective?
Yeah, I mean, the Bay Area Host Committee is working on, going after more events, whether it's, Women's World Cup, whether it's All-Star Games, whether it's, obviously we have World Cup, but, Zaleen and crew and the great board, led by Noah Wintrub, and they have representatives from AFC and the Valkyries and every team, the Earthquakes. So I know they're working on it, and we want them all. And so they have a mayor here in San Francisco that wants those big events here, and we'll do everything we can to support them.
We have to finish talking sandwiches. I know that
Of
that
course.
was that was my contribution.
You're a
this week.
sandwich guy.
Yeah,
Not a sports guy, you're a sandwich guy.
people accuse me of that in the comment section. We got some trolls who aren't too happy about it. But the vast majority of people seem to be very, very, well, I mean, Dave Portnoy ended up going to Deli Board, and I think that blew up the San Francisco sandwich scene. So now you've got people talking
And
about
Adam, you covered that. Adam deserves it because it's an amazing.
Yeah, so
Deli Board rocks.
I opened the week with something I've been working on for like a year and a half, and I told you about it, and then it just got delayed, and we had to go try more spots, and then it was just like, okay, let's wait till Super Bowl week. Let's wait till now. And so I hit a ton of spots, and now a lot of people are saying I already missed some spots, and that's a good problem to have, right?
Yeah.
But I do believe that San Francisco is the best sandwich city in the world.
Let's go.
And
The place I haven't tried on your list was the place in North Beach of all places. What was that?
Les Sandwich with
Les
Elias.
Sandwich. Okay, I gotta go.
And he used to run like a Michelin-rated restaurant, and he
right.
said, "I just don't want to deal with this anymore. Let me just have this would be the size of the sandwich."
I think
shop
I'm gonna go.
we're
I think I'm gonna go get one today.
Today.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna do it.
Perfect.
I'll give you my review. And then it was M Stop, right? M Stop.
M-Stop. Have you been
M-Stop,
out there?
I have.
You have, yeah.
Oh my God, I love that place.
Well, that ties everything we've been talking together. So that's a San Francisco native from, out near Balboa Park, Ingleside.
And he grew up like a block from where
Grew
he
up a
makes
block from
those
there.
great sandwiches, right?
And he dedicates the place to public transit. Like the M line stops right there. And then the mural outside. Like
I got on that. I got on Muni right out. Took a sandwich, got a sandwich, took the M line, and kept going to another meeting. It was
so you
perfect.
just took the M back to where?
No,
you needed to
yeah,
go?
I think I don't remember exactly where I went, but I took a few stops to my next meeting. It was perfect.
When is Muni getting extended to North Beach and?
Oh, Supervisor Souter, who is our District 3 supervisor, he's doing incredible work, by the way, and I know he's pushing for that. And so, listen, more infrastructure, more public transit. I'm all for it. We gotta make sure that we save Muni. My political point here is we're going to be putting a measure on the November ballot because Muni, without it, would really struggle, and our city would struggle. So I hope everybody supports Muni.
Yeah, there's a couple things. I want more subways in San Francisco.
Okay.
Just where we are, just for that city. Transit.
Water.
To
Yeah.
to be able to get there. And then, we talk about the, return of business, the mall downtown. Do you think that is something?
Listen, so I always say that you don't want me deciding what goes in a mall, but it's going to be sold. That building is going to be sold. It's a matter of weeks, if not a few short months, where I think you'll have a buyer. What our job, I believe our job here at City Hall is to create the conditions so that people want to be back downtown, that they want to buy that mall and do something crazy and incredible and fun in there. I ran for mayor not to dictate what business does or if they're open 4 days a week or 5 days a week or what goes in a mall. But if we do our job like we did last week and we produce and showcase how great our city is, because it is the greatest city in the world when we're at our best, then everybody's going to be flooding back in.
Yeah.
And we're seeing that. Our recovery it's happening. It's a bit at a fragile stage right now, so I want to nurture it and I want to protect it, and I want public transit fully covered, so that we can be off to the races and let our entrepreneurs, our artists, our creatives take over and welcome the world back to San Francisco.
Mr. Mayor, I think you have a sandwich to go
Let's
try.
go. I will, and make sure. Let's go San Francisco. And thanks for all that you do. I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge fan of yours. And let's go Niners in 2026, 27.
I predicted 12-5 this year.
Yeah.
That ended up working out. I was wrong. I didn't think they're going to do that after all the injuries. I will give you my prediction for next season. I do think that it's the year. I think they're winning the Super Bowl.
Let's go. I like it. All right. You heard it here first.
First, yeah, exactly, on this interview. Thanks again.
Thank you.